You have a favorite dish that you make?
I guess my favorite one to eat here is our duck confit. I'm not making that at home. It's messy.
If I make it here, I'll have a bite.
What's a question that you actually have for JMATT and Samantha about content creation?
Like, how do you do it? Like,
Is the motivation just to share what you do and it's truly a personal hobby that you want to put out there? Or are you trying to treat it more like a personal brand and a business and you're trying to scale it up?
There's no use trying to explain why people like something. Because obviously we should all like a beautiful cheese pull, but like why when I post, a zucchini lasagna with a beautiful cheese pull, does that do well? But like a spaghetti squash lasagna, something that in theory is basically the same thing. Like it should also do well and it won't. Like I've just stopped trying to explain the masses.
like I see a lot of those trends or like a lot of those big things coming from like one restaurant or maybe two restaurants. And I'm like, nah, you guys do it. Like you're already doing it the best. That's yours. Like, I'm not going to try to recreate it. Cause then it creates this sense of like comparison then in like, the culinary world. Like, well, this guy did it better or this chef did it better than you did.
Welcome back to another episode of the Milwaukee Flavor podcast presented by Visit Milwaukee. It's your boy, it's your host, Jamar Jones. I am the founder of Forever Media, national keynote speaker, and the author of the book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. And I got my man, Ian, with me.
Yes.
What's
Ian.
going on, man?
Yes, everything's great. Ian Thompson from Visit Milwaukee, Senior Communications Manager here, and foodie just like everybody else in the room.
Yeah, we're going to get into some food conversation with some Milwaukee icons. So, Ian, let's introduce some of the guests that we got.
Yes, we have by handle JMATT. We also have Wisconsin Cheese Please, and we also have from the Bartolotto restaurant groups at Lake Park Bistro, Amanda with us here as well.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Thank you.
How are we all feeling? Like, what's the vibe today?
Hungry for a good conversation.
Nice. No pun intended?
Oh, very intended.
Awesome.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about your individual channels, what you guys kind of do. What is it to be an influencer? What is it to be an icon here in the city of Milwaukee?
Your words, thank you, flattered. For me, I just do City of Milwaukee content, like supporting local businesses, oftentimes restaurants. Everybody eats. It's the easiest content to create, in my opinion. So it does lean towards food for me, but it certainly is supporting local at its core.
Yeah, probably same for me for the most part. I started with cheese curds, but now it's kind of overall just Milwaukee food, things to do, and just like events and stuff around the city, small businesses for sure. But yeah.
What's the best cheese curds? Real quick.
My favorite right now are at Heirloom.
Heirloom.
Yeah.
I've never had those.
Oh, really? You're missing out.
Not even as the food truck?
Oh, man.
No,
That's
I
how it
don't
started.
think so.
Taking notes.
Heirloom. Really over Lakefront?
I think so. Yeah. I'm going to say
Come on,
it.
don't play
I'm
with
gonna
me
say
now.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
play. Shoot. I got to go to Heirloom
I'm
now.
holding
Okay.
strong on that.
Okay. What about you, Amanda?
I'm the executive chef at Lake Park, so I make all the food that hopefully you guys can get content for. I myself try to do what you guys do as like influencers and have Instagram and stuff, and I don't know how you guys do it. That is a full-time job.
But
I
you
struggle.
can be.
But
just
you
to
do
post photos of food I make here, so.
I was low-key hoping you were going to say the best cheese curds are at the Lake Park Bistro, but that's just me.
We do not have cheese curds, no. That'd be pretty cool, though.
But you do work for an absolutely iconic head chef, head restaurant, the Bartolotto Group.
I do, yes. Been here for a while, so.
Yeah.
Great.
So tell us a little bit about Lake Park and what kind of culinary things you have going on there. What should we go there and try?
So Lake Park we're coming up on our 29th anniversary, so big 30 next year. I've been around since 1995 in this historic park, Frederick, the Olmsted, design, and it was built in 1905. Right now, I've been here. I came back from Mr. B's out in Brookfield last year, so I've been here about a year, just trying to get adjusted and reacclimated to downtown. So it's been a lot of fun. working on, specialty dinners and just kind of bringing in more and more traditional French food to Lake Park Bistro. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been working on here, and hopefully getting everybody excited about, being a really old restaurant and in an iconic location. My favorite dishes here are those ones that have been here since 1995. So steak frites, sole, mussels, escargot. Yeah, those are the classics are where it's at.
Do you have a favorite dish that you make?
Not that, so I've been making these for a while. I don't know if I have one to make. I guess my favorite one to eat here is our duck confit. I'm not making that at home. It's messy.
If I make it here, I'll have a bite.
Yeah, it takes a while. So, if I were coming here, I'd get the duck personally.
Noted.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. And you said that creating content is you don't know how they do it. So what's a question that you actually have for JMATT and Samantha about content creation?
Like, how do you do it? Like, I have my own Instagram account professionally for, like, what I do food-wise, but, like, I struggle just with finding, like, what do I post? And, like, how often do I post? And how do I get people to see said posts? I'm happy if I see like 40 people see it. I'm like, yeah, 40 people. And
Hey,
it's like
it's 40
all people that work in
40
our
people in the
restaurant
room is a
group.
lot.
Yeah.
But I still feel great about myself, So, like, how do you guys plan it out and schedule it and figure it out? And
Depends on what your motivations are. Is the motivation just to share what you do and it's truly a personal hobby that you want to put out there? Or are you trying to treat it more like a personal brand and a business and you're trying to scale it up?
I think it's like a hobby, but I think it's a hobby to try to get people to come like to Lake Park and like kind of offer that personal side of it. Like I'm proud of what I do and I want to share that with you and share all that love that I put into it with you. And like, I want you to come here. Business wise for personally myself, not so much. Like, I'm not looking to monetize anything. I'm just trying to look to get people to come to us.
The interesting thing for you mentioned you came from Mr. B's and now you're at Lake Park Bistro. If you establish your personal brand a little bit more clearly in your social media, then people that really enjoyed eating with you at Mr. B's will see that you moved to a different location and will want to try that other location because they follow you and not necessarily because they're following this restaurant. And that restaurant wouldn't be, oh, we just lost our chef or our chef just transferred over here. That's why having your own personal thing kind of works out pretty well.
Yeah.
How do you do it,
That
Samantha?
works.
I mean, I am not full-time at it by any means, so my posting is a lot less strategic than it probably should be. I used to be a lot more strategic, but like she said, it's a lot of work, and I don't have as much time to dedicate to it anymore, so I kind of post when I have content. I repost things that have done well in the past, and just I'm trying to focus more on sharing what I want to share. For a while, it was really focusing on, I have to share this, and this because that's what's hot right now. But it's exhausting when you're doing all that. So I try to be a little, more. What do I actually want to put out here? So yeah, it definitely takes time.
And how long did it take to build up the followings that you both have built up so far?
Yeah, I started my account in August of 2020. So 4 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Of being consistent?
Yeah.
4 years. There you go. There's your answer, Amanda. 4 years of being consistent.
Okay.
And also, can you guys?
All right.
We've also welcomed Erin Clarke into the chat here as well. We are happy to have her here. Erin, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hello. I apologize for being a little late. Got my time zones crossed. My name is Erin Clarke. I am the creator of wellplated.com, where I share easy, healthy recipes, often with a Midwest twist. And I am a fanatical Milwaukee foodie as well.
Awesome. And I'll actually just point the question right at you that we're talking about right now. How do you create all the content that you do, and how do you stay consistent, and how you're able to build up the page that you have?
It's really, really challenging. I'm not going to lie. Like, every single time we're making an Instagram video, we question our lives.
Your whole life.
That's about right.
I mean, at times, depending on when I'm like stressing out about getting a cheese pull, yes, I sometimes have to remind myself that I have a degree.
A degree in cheese pulling. That's great.
Yeah, that actually might do me more good.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
But no, the consistency is really hard for us. What has helped a lot is really maintaining a content calendar and sticking to it. So we plan out usually about 1 month at a time, and then really try to press ourselves to stick to the schedule. At the beginning, my website has always had a large following, but just as you guys know, with the way times have changed, it's not enough to have just an online website presence. You need to have this social media presence. People want a way to connect with Well Plated, the brand. And it's also a really important place to grow customers. I have my second book coming out this year. So the first step really was deciding back in January, this is something that we are going to go for. We started out and we decided we're going to do only reels and just see how that goes. So we started out posting 5 a week. I work full time with my husband, running Well Plated, and then we kind of added this on top. So it was just a really, really difficult, trying time, and the page did grow, but then we had to step back and reassess, like, okay, we were both completely burned out. Like, we are not enjoying our lives. And this is just like, we all go through those periods, but we both just realized a couple months in, like, this is not going to be sustainable. So then we scaled it back to 4 times a week. Now we've scaled it back to 3 times a week. And that is what we're sticking with. So I guess for us, it was figuring out, like, giving ourselves a challenge and a reason why, like, because until I had that reason why, I was really willy-nilly about posting. And it was just, we decided this is going to be a priority for us and a priority for our brand. So, and then from there, it was coming up with a way that we could be consistent. And I think that consistency, from what we've seen, consistency and quality matters more over quantity. So I apologize if you guys already touched on that, but like for us, we can do 3 high quality reels a week. So that is what we're going to do until the end of the year. And part of that is, part of what helps us is we do have a schedule that we plan at least a month in advance and stick to. And if we don't have that plan, we don't do it. Like, something about having those dates in front of me on our content planning calendar just makes it, we do all the creative brainstorming separately from the execution. So at the beginning of the week, I can look and I say, like, okay, well, this week we need to get these 3 recipes filmed, and then I'll usually stay up the night before and get everything prepped so that we can shoot it the next day. But it requires a completely different skill set. It has not been easy for us. And I would love to say, like, it's so fun, like, we're getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a slog. It's a slog.
Yeah, for sure. I know that the journey is rough, but the payoff is amazing. To have people discover and figure out about Milwaukee, about new foods, about just new trends that are happening. It's amazing. And what have been some of the more shocking things that people have said and stumble upon your content? Like, as far as when they're looking at either foods or even certain places, different restaurants to go to about Milwaukee. What's been some of the shocking things that people have said that they've stumbled across your content?
Well, generally, so I have a Milwaukee following, but also a national following. So I would say the first thing is that people are shocked that Milwaukee has such great food. I literally have had people be like, people from Chicago be like, so we decided to come up for a weekend.
Yeah.
It's not shocking to us. We all have been in the know for a while now, but that's just been personally exciting for me to see. It's been great for, like, some of the surprises and are just like, it'll be fun. Like, I'll be sitting in a restaurant and post, and like, we've had circumstances with friends where someone will be like, hey, like, we saw you just posted, thanks so much. So that's kind of been just for me, like, a fun side of the business that only I see. As far as like externally facing, the surprising thing is that I just literally never know. I do not know what people will like. Like, even after really, really focusing on this for the last 9 months, I still, there's still things that we put up that we think are going to be an absolute smash hit. And tank. And then there are things that we put up that I just are almost like, I don't even know if we should post this, but like we committed to this, like it's not our best, but we just need to get something out there. And then like it will go crazy. And sometimes I'll try to repost something. I'll repost something that did well 3 months ago, and sometimes it'll do well again, and sometimes it falls flat on its face the second time. So that is as someone that like likes analytics and likes to look for patterns, that's very infuriating to me. For sure. But all you can do is keep trying.
Yeah. So when we're talking about patterns, like what's one post for each of you that is kind of blown up that you didn't expect? Like Matt, I know, JMATT, you're going to be posting about spicy food and everything else. What's something that's blown up that you were like, oh, I didn't think that people had an interest in this?
Honestly, it was probably the first spicy video I did because I was just like, I want to go eat and more challenge myself. I literally go to restaurants and tell them to make me cry. So they take me seriously and actually turn up the heat. I wasn't sure how, it was.
Not for me.
I will go for the spiciest item on the menu, hands down. I'm like, let's just go all in. Let's find out. I don't want to be like, you got a range to 5. Let's try 4. No, let's go all in. Issan's on the menu goes to level 10. Off the menu, level 25.
Oh my God.
So after I told them, I was like, I'm going for the hottest thing. And they said 25. I was like, well, I have to do it. So I did the 25, and then I asked them to give me the 10 on the side so I could at least try it. So as the 25 started to overwhelm, I switched to the 10 to cool down.
Oh my God.
I was going to say, can you even taste anything?
Yeah, I was literally going to say that.
Yeah. The trick is to not eat the food right away because then you have like the temperature heat, which then like your tongue gets sore and you slow down your eating because of that. But if the temperature is much more bearable, then you can just experience the spice and, in my opinion, last a little longer. But the spicy series did pretty well, so I kept with it.
You're an animal.
I tried. I haven't finished my meal at every place because they do deliver sometimes.
Yeah. Jeez. What about you, Samantha?
One thing that comes to mind, I had a South Milwaukee bar crawl that I did with some girlfriends, and it was literally like I didn't intend to make content with it. We were just walking around, and I kept it in my drafts for like 3 months because I was like, this is kind of dumb. Nobody's really going to care about this. It blew up. Insane amount of views, insane amount of shares. So just I've noticed kind of things like that where you're like, 5 coffee shops in a certain region or 4 places with really spicy chicken wings or something like that. Lists do very well. But yeah, I've had a couple, same thing like Erin said, things where you don't think they're going to do well and it's the complete opposite of what you think what's going to happen. So
Amanda, not on a post wise, but as far as like a culinary offering at the restaurant, what is something that is received a lot of popularity that was something that you didn't think would necessarily do as well?
So like a month or 2 ago, we had put a Mediterranean sea bass on the menu. Oh. It was kind of just one of those, like, it was a great dish, but it was like a quick change, just like for seasonal purposes. And we were bringing in like upwards of like 30 fish a day for a while there, which was just insane. Like my prep cooks hated me because I had to clean and like fillet all of them. So that was kind of a shock and a surprise at the time. But I've also had those dishes where I'm like super into it and super proud of it, and we sell like 1. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I spent all this time and effort and energy, and it looks beautiful, and it tastes great, and it just dies. And you're like, wah-wah. And then some of the ones that you just, like, throw together really quick, and you don't have time to think about it, are, like, the ones that you sell the most of. So we get it, too, just, like, in restaurants and stuff like that. So it is, like, up and down and hit and miss, too.
Yeah, for sure. What is, and what has been, something that has there been a moment like an influencer or content creator has made some content about your restaurant and you've seen like a direct effect with it?
Not so much. Like I know we have our own marketing team and like our own content, and we've always seen that like when we get new reels going out, like we will see an influx of people. But I think throughout my career, even like if something hit the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, like a recipe or a dish was in there, like you knew you needed to be prepared because you were about to sell 3 times as much as you were every other week.
Yeah.
we do have these influxes where we'll see dishes that don't normally sell like a lot of. All of a sudden in a week, we're going through like 3 or 4 times that amount. And I guess it makes me wonder, like, if somebody did post about
something,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like the algorithm didn't like me that week, so I don't know. Like I never saw it, So there's definitely, we get hits when things are out there and, in social media or even in print.
Yeah, for sure. And it's amazing when that happens, because you don't even know if like it's a trend, like almost like the chicken sandwich blew up. And then every restaurant is coming out with their own chicken sandwich. What was the big like mozzarella pull?
Oh yeah,
Alfonso's?
Yeah.
Where was that at?
They're in West Dallas.
West
And they got a
Dallas,
location
yeah.
on the 3rd Street Market Hall now
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then other restaurants are coming out with their own like mozzarella
Vegas
stuff.
is trying to be bigger.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger and bigger.
It's crazy. So how do we? Is there a secret formula to recreating that moment for something? So can we do that with cheese curds? Can we do that with fish fries? Can we do that with other different Milwaukee staples? Like, is that recreatable? Is that a word?
It is now. It is today.
I think there could be. I think that there is something recreatable and something. I think it kind of depends on what it is, because we've had situations where we'll have something do really well, and so I'll try to just do like version 2 of that, and version 2 tanks.
Yeah.
And then there are times where like there is a running joke with my team that the only recipe. So I also post a lot of recipes to my Instagram reels. And the story of our year has been mason jar salads. Like for whatever reason, people love mason jar salads. I think it's like an aspirational thing. Like you want to have a refrigerator full of mason jar salads so that you can go eat like the epic
Meal
cheese
prep.
pull and cheese curds. Like if you're doing that during the day,
Balance.
you can go like have your fun out at dinner at night. Yeah. But there is something like we just like nailed this shot pattern where for whatever reason, if we started the video a certain way, it would do well every single time. And I would say we rode that wave for probably about 4 months. And then suddenly it just didn't do well anymore. So now we're going back and like changing it up to try to figure it out. But generally what I've seen, and this isn't this is not a formula, but it's just like when there's no use trying to explain why people like something, because obviously we should all like a beautiful cheese pull, but like why, when I post, a zucchini lasagna with a beautiful cheese pull, does that do well? But like a spaghetti squash lasagna, something that in theory is basically the same thing, like it should also do well, and it won't. Like I've just stopped trying to explain the masses. But I do always think if something does well, it's always worth trying repeating, because at least you have some, with as little evidence as there is out there, at least you have like some hope to it, I guess.
Yeah. What's your guys' take on that?
So I'm like the complete opposite. Like I see a lot of those trends or like a lot of those big things coming from like one restaurant or maybe 2 restaurants, and I am like, nah, you guys do it. Like you're already doing it the best. That's yours. Like I'm not gonna try to recreate it, because then it creates this sense of like comparison then in like the culinary world. Like, well, this guy did it better, or this chef did it better than you did. Like I don't.
Do you risk becoming a copycat too?
You do
or perceived that way?
Yeah. A little bit. And then like, your restaurant could be doing amazing things, and then maybe you didn't recreate that dish exactly right. And then people come in and they think like, oh, you can't, the rest of your things on your menu might not be as great because that one recreation kind of hit the mark, like missed the mark, I tend to stay kind of far. Like I'll make them for our staff meals and stuff like that, just because, that's the fun time to make it. But I tend to let the people who've made it the best continue making it the best.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really great point. So just like, and this is something like I think about a lot too with viral trends that come across Instagram. Like there are accounts that do really well that just, like the baked feta pasta from a couple years ago. Like one person did that, and then suddenly every single person did that. And it ends up being, I feel like you end up scrambling for trends versus developing a core audience. So like when I look for patterns, I look for them just within my own specific audience. So it's not so much if I saw somebody else do it, now I can go copy it. I think there can be a time and a place for that. If you feel like the trend is just like so on point for your followers, I think there is a case for doing it every now and then seeing how you can put your own spin on it. But I totally agree with you. Like at the beginning of this year when we were so desperate for growth, I was like, okay, I'm going to try. Like I just tried it for a couple weeks, was like, I'm just going to do these viral things that supposedly, whatever we say, however you define viral, and like it didn't work. And as I was doing it, it did not feel authentic to me. Like I felt icky while I was doing it. And we have had success. We've had better success just trying to look at our own, look within our own analytics to see what people are responding to.
So, question for everybody. What would be your sleeper restaurant or drink place that you would recommend that probably not everybody audience-wise knows about, that's either new or just kind of like under the radar?
Drinks? Got it. Edith. It's under the radar. People don't really know about it. People will go before a show if they know of it. But it's craft cocktails, downtown Milwaukee, and I think they have jazz on Friday nights. I know they've come out a little bit more. More people are familiar with it, but I don't hear people talking about it as much as some of the more popular spots or the more known about spots.
Yeah, I'll use recency bias here. Last night I went to the Sophie for the first time, which I did not even know existed.
I think I've heard of that one.
It's downtown, and you go down. It's kind of like half underground, if you will, and it's like a martini bar essentially. So they got really nice cocktails, really good vibe in there. They had some happy hour specials and whatnot. So I would definitely go back there. It was kind of a hidden little gem.
What'd you have to drink there?
It was like a pink lemonade martini.
Pink lemonade martini.
It was pretty good.
Was it too sweet?
No, I thought it was going to be, but it was not.
That's the one thing. When they're too sweet, it's too much. It's too much.
I agree.
Can't have it too sweet or too spicy. I can't have either
That
one.
sounds like a good problem to have. Make my drink too spicy.
And what drink did you have at Edith then?
Honestly, I don't remember. I never go anywhere and look at the menu. I just give me something off the menu, surprise me.
Oh,
For the most part, because I will never remember.
Yeah.
ADHD. Genuinely will not remember. So every time I go out, it's an adventure. But I do know that, I had a good drink here. I will go back. I might have the same one. I may not. I will never remember.
Yeah. I got you.
I was going to chime in for eats. One of my favorites that I feel like not enough people know about is the Original on the East Side. It is a neighborhood gem. They have amazing cocktails, great food. The menu has changed every single time that I have been in there. And while there is still some warm weather, they have a beautiful outdoor patio.
Wow. Nice. And what do you get there in particular?
It's pretty, I'm trying to remember, I feel like I usually like to go with a group of friends who all just wants to share a lot of food. Honestly, even if they don't want to share their food, I usually will ask for a bite anyway, because I am that friend. But usually, I always want to start with a cocktail, and then they have really a really beautiful scallop dish that they usually put a spin on different times. I am not necessarily always the person that goes for the scallops, but there's something about theirs that is always very fresh, very seasonal. And they just put a lot of care into their cooking, and it's on the most unassuming neighborhood block. So I love that place. And then it is across the street from another neighborhood gem, Tess. Which I also highly recommend. So you can just, kind of live on that corner for a weekend.
I think they're literally across the street from each other.
Oh, are they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And what's there to get at Tess?
Last time I was there, I remember it was kind of cold and snowy, and I got a venison dish, and it was delicious. It was just so
nice.
In a nice demi-glaze. I think they had kind of a little bit of a berry sauce in with it. It was delightful.
Sounds good.
I think Tess is the one you have to do a reservation for, because I think I tried to walk in once and they're like, "Ooh, we're fully booked." And I was like, "Noted. I'm going to go back some other time with better plans."
Did they know who you were?
I was years ago. Nobody knows who I am. Get out of here.
Oh, you're a modest, right? You didn't want to name drop
You just never
it,
assume.
you know?
You never want to be one of those people.
You know who I am.
Nope, not out of me.
I know that ain't you at all. What about you, Amanda? What's some sleeper places to go to?
Man, you're gonna hate my answer. So I have 2 kids, so I have not really gone out since about 2019. Between like working in the restaurant and then taking care of kids. So like when we do go out, I just go to my favorites. So like it's like Cafe Corazon and Uncle Wolfie's for breakfast or like Blue's Egg or something like that. Cause like I gotta take those moments like when I can get them. And then also not like a huge, like I don't really drink a lot anymore. So like I don't think I've been to a bar since like 2014.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So when you sneak out, like you're purposeful about where you're going.
Yeah, and like a lot of the times it is like brunch or breakfast because those are the moments that like my husband and I can like sneak away to get out. So yeah. Or we like since I also live like in New Berlin and like outside the city, so like we usually go west. So we're like going out to Delafield. So Belfry Kitchen out in Delafield's really good. ID are those places that we kind of venture out towards.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Well, there's a lot of I just thought about this idea, right? So all these amazing chefs and restaurants and bar owners and farmers and everybody that we're interviewing, right? What if should we there's got to be somewhere release like the top places that you should visit or because now we have a beautiful list of all these restaurants and bars and places to go to. There's got to be something with that, right?
Yeah, so we do have quite a few of them on visitmilwaukee.org.
Yeah.
If you're looking for events to go to, if you're looking for cookbook recipes as well, also stop over and look at Erin's recipes.
Yes.
But great source for all of those things on the Visit Milwaukee site.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is cool. So what do you feel like? What do you like best about this year about Milwaukee? With all the content, with all the things that you've all created, what's something that really shines out to you this year that you're really excited about that happened, or something that's coming?
Well, somebody's got to say it, right? Top Chef. Being filmed here, and Dan Jake was getting that exposure. More than just great for him, but great for the city for people to see what Wisconsin and what Milwaukee has to offer in the culinary scene.
Yeah, that was exciting. We just actually had a couple chefs here like an hour ago.
Well, should have come an hour early, I guess. Staying next time.
Yeah, did not bring any food.
That's fine. That's how you get the reservation.
Sam, what about you?
Yeah, kind of on that same note, I know we had 2 bars that are going to be featured in Bar Rescue as well. I know that they were here filming last week for at least one of the episodes, so that'll give us some good exposure. I think there's just a lot of new places opening up, and a lot of restaurants have kind of rebranded, revamped their menus and things like that, so that's been really cool to kind of watch them grow and grow and grow, especially some that started as food trucks or started at Crossroads as a pop-up. Just becoming successful and really getting people in to try their food and whatnot. Yeah.
I think I gotta watch those Bar Rescue episodes with those restaurants or with those bars because I don't know, John Taffer in your face just seems terrifying.
You may see a familiar face.
Are all shows good shows to be on for your city, though?
I think so, right? All publicity is good publicity, right?
Sort of.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Sort of.
What about you two?
Oh, I think the restaurant that I have been most excited about this year, or at least, and again, I have some, recency bias as well, is room service. And what makes me really excited about that restaurant is I feel like Milwaukee has and Wisconsin at large has this reputation of being like meat and potatoes. Other than JMATT, we don't like spice. And so to see a restaurant, like they're doing some fun, really creative things that I see when I visit larger cities, and to just see how popular they are and how that has been embraced just makes me see that, like, I feel like people are eager for more of that, you know, kind of that adventure, that fusion food. And I just really hope that we continue to see more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. So I think like Top Chef brought like this new enthusiasm from Milwaukee and like kind of like just this positivity that I don't think was lacking, but I think like just helped lift kind of everybody in the city. But compared to like when I started as a cook in Milwaukee and like I think it was like 2010, like the amount of just different cuisine restaurants have like grown almost exponentially. Like you had the mom and pops that like everyone went to, you know, that were like kind of cheap eats, but now like I think some of those cuisines have been elevated a little bit and just like kind of brought to the masses a little more. So like it's pretty cool. Like I drive down the street now and it's like, oh, there's like this new, you know, Korean restaurant or, you know, this new Mexican restaurant. So it's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That's all. I do see a lot of developments happening around the city, and it's definitely there's a buzz. There's definitely a buzz that's going around the city, and it's exciting to see. What's all of your favorite like just Milwaukee story? I think it would be very interesting just to hear when you kind of think back on your time in Milwaukee. What's one story, just a window into each of your worlds that you can share with us? That just pops up in your mind, either with friends or maybe through creating content, if there was a funny story through there, going out to an event.
I did a cheese curd review with Barstool Sports, which
nice.
They came to Milwaukee to do a cheese curd episode and reached out to me through Instagram. The internet is wild with that stuff. So that was something that I wasn't sure that it was legitimate at first. I made one of my friends come with me because I was a little worried.
Right.
But we went to the 3rd Street Market Hall, went to Dairyland, and it was just really cool. They have obviously had a bunch of cameras and stuff, and ate tons of food and really good cheese curds. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Did you get that nice cheese pull that you were looking for? Okay.
I taught him how to do it right. They went to some questionable places prior, so I corrected
You're
them.
in Milwaukee.
Let me show you where we need to go. All right.
Like this is what you're going to write about.
Yeah. It's good you did that.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped into my head is a bit more of a personal story. It was so I'm not from Milwaukee. I moved here 10 years ago, kicking and screaming with my husband, who is, and just really, really fell for the city. And the first time that my 2 younger sisters came to visit, it was in the summer. We rented bubbler bikes and we did a biking beer tour where we just biked from brewery to brewery. We started on the east side, went to Lakefront, went through 3rd Ward to Walker's Point. And just like by the time we had finished, like they were both just like their mouths were gaping. My sister looks at me and she goes, "Milwaukee is awesome." Like it was just like the total shock of like I was like, yeah, it is. So for me, that's just been really fun. Like I'm close to my family, so having them come over the years and see them like have their own favorite places here that they are really excited to go back to every time they visit has just been really, really fun.
Yeah. I think you got to have a good tour guide when you come here. Like just to show you, like, I think that's a common theme with a lot of the episodes we've been recording is like somebody shows them a couple of hot spots to go to. And then that experience like opens their mind. Like, this place is actually pretty dope. Like I like good food, good energy, good music. Like they're like, man, the people are really cool here. But if you come here and just don't really know where you go, well, you got to go to Visit Milwaukee for that. Yep. You know, that's your first stop.
We are the tour guides.
You are the tour guides, but you got to have some direction of where to go.
I would say for me, it's more so the city of festivals. It's really reigns true. When I lived on the east side, I remember walking out and having no idea that there was a block party on my block. Like, I just never saw the promotions for it, and I walked out, I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to go do this now. Yeah. But it happens to me so frequently that I'll just be driving on some street or walking around, and there's like a vibrant block party or festival happening that I wasn't fully aware of or aware of at all, and it's just oh, cool. Let's just jump in and experience whatever this is.
Yeah. Walking distance, just go right in there.
For sure.
Yeah. That's cool. It's cool that they do that stuff like right in the streets. It's
Super cool for
Right in the
traffic.
streets.
it's like right
Sometimes not even
down
blocked off.
streets.
Oh, yeah, that part.
Closed down streets.
Closed down streets. That's
Yes.
right. Night market, like all that stuff is just
Yeah.
really cool. Really cool, and they transform the city like that.
Yeah, I think for me, the city comes alive with night market, right? I was able to go to every single one this summer. So checking out all the vendors that are there. I mean, when they say small Milwaukee, it's very much a small city. You can't really go almost like 10 feet without running into somebody that you know at the night market, which for some people that's kind of a nightmare. But for me,
Depends who the small part of the Milwaukee is.
for me as an extrovert, I think that's like a really great thing, and I think there's just such a like strong sense of community because you have a bunch of vendors there that you'll be able to go there and support local. You'll be able to talk to business owners, learn about what they have upcoming as well. That's one of my favorite Milwaukee memories and stories.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Amanda?
So I grew up here. So I grew up in the suburbs, but I moved back in I lived in Chicago for a little bit, and then I moved back around 2008, 2009. It's a great time to look for a job. Ended up working at Harbor House starting in 2010, and as a young cook and being young in the city and just kind of getting to explore and figure things out, like I would agree with everybody. I feel like Milwaukee is just electric in the summer. Like there's so many things going on. Like you can, go to this street and there's something going on, and this street and there's something going on. So like my best memories came from like my early 20s where like we're just exploring and like doing not so great things, after work. And
These are the stories we want to hear.
Yeah, we want to hear these. What were you doing?
Which episode's that?
But no, being young in Milwaukee was amazing. And now kind of growing older in Milwaukee and seeing so many of the people that I was young with in Milwaukee also growing and kind of like developing to their own, like even in the culinary world, it's, as someone once said, magical. And, like I look at people now who are chefs in different restaurants and it's like, hey, I remember when you were, a cook with me or a cook when I was a sous chef. And it's amazing. Milwaukee's amazing. I don't know why anybody lives anywhere else.
Heard.
There you go. No, that's cool. We still want to know a little bit about the not so good things, but
I can't tell
Off
that.
camera.
I'll get in trouble.
She's going to like hide her screen, but you'll still hear her audio.
is that the After Hours podcast that you need to be on?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, that can be later.
It's the dessert.
It is the dessert. All right, very quickly, let's talk desserts. You're a big dessert fan. Oh, actually, are you a big dessert fan?
I'll eat it.
I'll
eat it.
Yeah, let's talk desserts. Why not? What are you guys eating dessert wise? What's hot? What's trending?
Nothing
What's good?
pairs better than a night out with some good bevies than some frozen custard. I don't know why, but you get just enough in me, and I'm like, let's go get some ice cream, some frozen custard. It's a nice little challenge. Whenever I see it on the menu, like a boozy milkshake, I'm like, yep, that's happening.
That's the go-to.
That's your kryptonite. All right.
It's just a thing, I guess. Some people smoke. I eat ice cream.
Okay. Where would you say like just a couple of shout outs for custard places?
Well, frozen custard. I think Fred's is the custard stand. Man, what are they on? But they're up there.
Yeah, they're off of Elite. I think
There
they're
we go.
directly on Elite.
Yeah, they're up there. Frozen custard. Well, Leon's obviously. Can't go without Leon's. There's surprisingly not a ton of frozen custard, even though there's a solid 5 or 6, which is a lot for like density, but also like if you're doing ice cream too, you're like, oh, there's a Night Owl and this and that. So there's a range. To me, yes, there's a difference in frozen custard and ice cream, but I'm not going to be mad about getting some ice cream.
For sure.
I would consider myself
flexible that
a big
100%. It's a sweet.
cookie connoisseur. So that's usually my go-to dessert. And lately I've been eating a lot of BB Cakes cookies. She makes the half pound,
Oh, yeah.
gigantic.
Half pound?
Half pound, yes. Different flavors every month. They are so good. She sells them online and then does like pop-ups at like farmers markets and night market and things like that. So I've got tons in my freezer. It's been my go-to.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Gotta let it thaw out.
You're
Like a
missing
day.
out if you haven't had those yet.
I haven't.
Oh,
Guilt-free.
Guilt-free.
0 calories.
With the right
You
attitude.
don't eat it all in one sitting, do you?
You
No.
have to.
Okay.
I mean,
I
of course not.
I'm like, man, I have.
Sometimes I want to, but you get like halfway through it and you're like, okay,
have
save this
through.
for later. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
That would
good
set
stuff.
me up, man.
Amanda, Erin, what are you feeling dessert-wise?
I have a huge soft spot for Buckley's carrot cake. Like it is to me, that is just
Buckley's.
like the untouchable. I'm not even a cake person. Like I would take a pie. I would take ice cream over a cake every day, except for this. I mean, this carrot cake is my kryptonite. It is just so delicious.
Yeah, Buckley's is a good spot. They got some
love
good.
that place.
Yeah, they got some good food there, for sure.
I am a dessert aficionado, if you will. Like, I do not miss dessert. Whether it's cookies, cake, cupcakes, ice cream. If you've never been out to, it's like on Greenfield and Sunny Slope, they have Lee's Dairy Treat, which is dairy milk, which is different than both ice cream and custard. Like, that's one of my go-to favorites because it's close to home. But, you know, like Courtney Bayer at Loopy and Iris makes phenomenal desserts, just absolutely amazing. Allie Howard from Matilda Bakehouse, like I could eat her
Oh, yeah.
croissants and all of those things all day,
She's
every
outside
day.
for the next episode right now, actually.
That's amazing timing.
That's great timing.
I'm gonna ask her about her desserts once we get out there. Oh, you didn't bring any
But
with you?
even at Lake Park, like when they're trimming our chocolate mousse for the night, like you will see me with a spoon just waiting for those trimmings to like eat the entire plate of them. Like it's amazing that I'm not sick like every day with the amount of things that I eat. But I love dessert. So
Yeah, you love it. You love
I
it.
love it. And maybe it's just because like I'm not always gonna make it, and it, like you like things taste better when somebody else makes them, you know. So, but yeah, I love dessert.
How often are you cooking? Like, I'm sure everybody just wants your food at all times. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, so we do like a staff meal at the restaurant every day.
Oh,
so, like,
okay.
we provide that for people. And I think in our company have been known to have a reputation of making the best staff meals. So people definitely get excited when I make them. I don't know if it's just because, you know, love and attention go into it, or maybe it's like that mom thing where like mom's cooking always tastes better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, they all wish that it was like every day. But I don't have that energy.
And with family and friends, are you like, does everybody just look at you when it comes down to like all the holidays, all the special events? Are you the chef that says, nah, you already know I do this for a living, so somebody else got to cook for me?
I am I do this for a living, you cook for me.
Perfect. Love that.
I do bring stuff, like I'll bring a side dish or I'll bring a dessert or something. And like occasionally I'll do the holiday if I'm feeling like really ambitious about it. But, you know, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, I kind of was just like, nah, I'm not doing that every single
Not
time.
doing this
I can't.
anymore.
Would love to cook for you if you come to my restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to the restaurant. I'll cook all day for you.
Totally.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you all for being on this show. This has been incredible, and definitely everybody exchange information, afterwards, and stay in touch, keep in communication. It's been really great just to hear all your just recommendations about Milwaukee, and also just learn about content creation and really the life of influencer or content creator here in Milwaukee, and really just shedding some light on a lot of the amazing things that we got here. Where can people find more about Milwaukee?
Yeah, visit Milwaukee.org. We're on also Instagram. We have a website. We also are on TikTok, Facebook as well. Handle is at Visit Milwaukee. Let's just go around the horn. What are your handles and where do we find you?
Yeah, JMATT MKE. Everywhere.
That's simple.
Yeah, just make it super easy.
All right.
YouTube, everything.
I'm Wisconsin Cheese Please, and I think TikTok is WI Cheese Please, so it was too long for the other one. So close, but
I am well plated everywhere.
And then I'm Chef Amanda Langler, but only on Instagram because I'm an old millennial and I don't do TikTok.
We'll get you there.
Well, yes, thank you all for joining.
Do it for you.
Yes, thank you for all joining us today, and I'll let
Yeah,
you close
no,
it.
that's good. Yeah, what can we get to your personal Instagram? No, it's playing.
Yeah. His personal Instagram is
At Visit Milwaukee.
All right.
Well, thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to all the channels, all the distribution that we're doing for this show. And if you really like this show and you found something impactful or something that you want to share with others, don't be stingy. Share this with somebody because they need to hear it and actually experience more about Milwaukee. So we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you and peace.